Okay. Let's see if we're live here. Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. Welcome. I forgot. I always forget my TV's on. Hi, everybody. How are you doing? Hi, Peekaboo. Hi, Gilly. Hi, Carol. Hey, Tom. Thank you for joining us here this Sunday afternoon. We have a very exciting guest with us today. We have the lovely Stef, the altar nerd, is finally joining me here on my show. Hi, Stef. Welcome to the show.
Hey up, hun. How are you doing?
I am doing really, really well. Just trying to catch up with all of the latest royal news because I feel like every time I turn around, something else pops up. It's just you cannot get ahead of it.
Tell me about it. There's like, what, 10, 15 stories, royal news that has just come out over the past weekend. It's been absolutely nuts. The one that's really, though, grind my gears is the essentially media PR assassination of King Charles and that article from Times that came out. Absolutely horrific, that one. Anywho, off on a tangent.
That one. Yeah, we'll have to talk about that one for sure. Because like I said, I probably didn't even see that one, Steph, to be honest with you, because there's just so many stories. Hi, Carte Blanche. Welcome to the live. Hi, Effie. Hi, Laura. Hi, Eva. We're just going to wait a couple more minutes to let some people join us. Hi, Geezer. Hi, Lizzie. Yeah, you guys, there's just so much royal news that we're going to get into. But first, we're going to talk about this beautiful lady. Stef, the altar nerd, has an amazing YouTube channel if you're not aware. So please make sure you go over and check out Stef, the altar nerd, her YouTube channel. Stef, you've been doing this for what, 3-4 years now? You've been doing this for a while.
Longer, really, when you take into account my work with Andy, my big brother over on Popcorn Palace and Popcorn Planet. But yeah, being on YouTube now for longer than even I realize at this point. And yeah, I'm just really, really grateful to be on here. So thank you, guys.
Yeah, so Stef is at 131,000 subs. So let's go over and subscribe to her and let's get her, guys, to 200,000 subs. Let's get her to 200,000 subs. And if you're not aware, Stef recently launched another channel called Political Nerds. So if you're someone who has Harry and Meghan fatigue and you want to talk about world political events, go over and check out Stef's other channel, Political Nerds. She already has 35,000 subscribers. So let's go and get her to 40,000 subs. So how do you like your political channel? Are you talking about world topics or what do you guys discuss over there?
So at the moment, there's so much going on here in the UK. The majority of my coverage at the moment is focused on here at home. But there are the odd times that I will discuss things that might be happening over in America, Russia, Australia, Canada, wherever something big happens outside of the UK, essentially. But for those that don't know why I started this second channel, I actually have a degree in international relations and security studies. Politics is essentially my academic wheelhouse. And so I thought, do you know what? Let me put my degree to some use and do a second channel. And so this was just a natural thing for me to do.
It's nice when you can put your degree to use, right? I have a master's degree collecting dust, and I'm over here making Harry and Meghan Barbie reenactments and talking about the royals. But, you know, it's either here nor there. So, Stef, I am so glad you're on the show because there are so many things I wanted to pick your brain. So let's talk about the big story that dropped this week, and I want to get your opinion on it. What do you think about this meeting right here? I mean, are the calls coming from inside the house? Who the hell leaked this story? What is your take on this whole fiasco?
At this point, I'm not too sure. I'm actually on the fence with this one because I originally thought that it was Team Sussex that did this leak. Because ultimately, when a leak occurs, the most important question to really figure out who the leak was in the first place is who benefits from that leak?
Right.
Who benefits from it? And this kind of leak here, initially for me, totally benefited Hazza and Megxie, because it essentially shows them going to the royal family, trying to broker a peace deal kind of situation, bearing in mind that there were 2 representatives for Team Sussex and only 1 from the king. And, you know, when future articles come out being like, oh, the royal family don't want anything to do with them, this, that, and the other, Team Sussex can spin and be like, well, we tried to extend the olive branch, this, that, and the other, and they told us to piss off. So that was kind of like a little bit of my logic as to why I initially thought, okay, it was Team Sussex. They stood to benefit more from this leak based on my logic there. Reason why I'm now on the fence is these WhatsApp messages that have since been released from a representative of Buckingham Palace, where actually indicates that it was their side that essentially leaked this story out.
Wow.
Yes. Why would they do that? Doesn't
So
benefit them for the public to know that they're attempting a brokering a peace with Hazza and Megxie, really, in the grand scheme of things. But yeah, so that's why I'm on the fence with this one now.
okay, so let's backtrack because that's news to me, Stef. So let's rewind. So basically, another story came out that there were some WhatsApp messages leaked from the royal family side, that they are the ones who leaked it. They leaked the story to the press.
Yeah.
Wow. Now that does put a different perspective on it, because I have to be honest with you, Stef. I thought this was Harry and Meghan, full stop, because this is their MO. So do you think, playing the devil's advocate, that they leaked it to the press because they knew that people would assume automatically that it was Harry and Meghan who leaked it, and that therefore they're proving to be untrustworthy? That's so weird. Wow. Because I can't imagine, why would the royal family want to leak it? What would be their purpose? Maybe they're trying to say, we're trying to play nice here, that we're not the evil monarchy that they're painting us out to be, that we're trying to hear them out. We're showing concern for Harry. But I can't imagine that anybody in the UK, like you live in the UK, wants Harry and Meghan back. So I can't imagine what the end goal of that would have been. That's weird.
It's really weird. Now, I can understand why they may want to, how do I put this? Reconcile with Hazza and Megxie behind the scenes. Because ultimately, for better or for worse, they are family, right?
Mm-hmm.
But to potentially do it so openly, as we're seeing in this picture here, who knows? But guys, I'm seeing in the comments, it wasn't a member of the royal family that I was talking about. It was one of the courtiers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So
Interesting.
let me be very clear on that.
Wow. Well, there was another story that I was watching, Dan Wooten. Now, I don't know if you remember this, and I totally forgot about this, but a long time ago, when King Charles was Prince Charles, he had actually met with his uncle, the Duke of what was it, Windsor, when he was estranged from the family, and he let it leak that he met with his wayward uncle, and the Queen was not happy, because there was no way the Queen was ever going to allow Wallace Simpson and her husband back into the royal fold. And when he was nearing his end of life, he had reached out to the Queen like, hey, can you do something for my wife? And she's like, nope, sorry, you guys are out. But Charles went and met with him and leaked the story. So that's a kind of a new thing that Dan Wooten broke recently. And that makes me think, they don't normally do that kind of thing, right? But then here we are with this reconciliation story, and it got leaked immediately to the press. To me, it still seems like it was still from Harry and Meghan's side, because they're the ones that have more to benefit from the king. And then, of course, we all know, we've heard the rumors that Harry wants to come back without Meghan, that he is literally ready to ditch Meghan for a chance to come back to his family, because I don't believe for one moment that he is happy with the life that he has right now. So then we see these images here where he's literally trying to recreate his mother's legacy. And it's like, what are you doing, Harry? What do you think about this? Do you think this is going to backfire in his face?
Already has done. Already has done. Because instead of him being known as a humanitarian, following in his mother's footsteps, doing something good, right? And being proud of Hazza, instead it's backfired as to, oh, look who's been getting tips from Megsy as to how to cosplay Princess Diana. You know, trying to use the memory of Princess Diana, this, that, and the other as a PR ploy to try and make us like him more, this, that, and the other. It's all so that's why I say it's already backfired on him in terms of the coverage he's getting. It's not what he wants, that's for sure.
Right. And the way that he's always accusing people of dining out on his mom. And here he is literally dining out on the memory of his mom. Now, of course, we've heard the stories, which I kind of found surprising, was that according to sources, that Harry was absolutely adamant that Meghan Markle was not going to join him on this trip. And that it was kind of like, this is what he has left. You know, she's infiltrated the Invictus Games. She pretty much has taken over everything. The Polo documentary, she got herself up in that, right? And we know that his other charities are pretty much imploding, that they're not really existence. African Parks and Centabale are done. So the Halo Foundation is kind of one of the few things he has that he's kind of following in the footsteps of his mother, and he doesn't want Meghan to be a part of it, because we all know Meghan Markle, y'all, is chomping at the bit to don that outfit and to walk in the same steps as Princess Diana. I mean, first of all, let's have a shout out for the graphic. Grok is my favorite thing ever on Twitter. But come on, we all know Meghan Markle would love to duplicate the Diana walk through the landmines. And Harold said, nope, you're not taking that away from me. What is your take on the fact that he's not letting Meghan be a part of this?
Well, it all stems to the alleged peace talks that were leaked. So it's kind of being theorized, discussed, however you want to call it, that Prince Harry is trying to negotiate his way back into the royal family, but without involving Meghan in those negotiations, right? Further reports have come out, and this one, I believe, was from Radar Online, where Prince William is essentially turning around and saying, the only way I'll let Prince Harry back in is if he divorces Meghan. And so you could potentially put those two things I've just said together and be like, okay. So Prince Harry negotiates pretty much on his own with the royal family to make his way back in after Prince William allegedly turns around and says, the only way we'll let you back in at all is if you divorce Megxie. We're then looking at a scenario where Harris is potentially saying, okay, let me show you I can do that. I can be without Megxie. Flies off to Angola without Megxie. I think we may see more solo outings for Prince Hazza to outwardly prove to the royal family that he wants to come back in without Megxie. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I totally feel like he's basically trying to show them, look, I'm still a royal. I still can command a presence. And he did meet with the prime minister, I believe, of the country. It looked like he was on a royal tour. And it's like, you're not a royal. Why are the heads of state meeting with you? You were an exiled prince. It's so bizarre to me how that whole thing was set up. So first we see the reconciliation on the balcony, the talks. So it's almost as if King Charles is giving him a go ahead, right?
Mhm.
And then he goes out to Angola, meets with the head of Angola, like he's on an official royal duty, royal tour. And then he's out there literally copying what his mother did, 30 plus years ago. It's like, what are you doing? What message are they sending? And of course, it's without Meghan. Now, we all know that Meghan has absolutely no interest in going back to the UK. She's made that abundantly clear.
Mm.
A lot of people say that she used, marrying into the royal family as a stepping stone. It was a stepping stone for the career that she couldn't have. And I was listening to one of your videos earlier, and you were spot on when you said that Meghan never had any intention of being a royal. She basically wanted to get in and get out, get the royal clout. And all the people who didn't pay attention to her earlier, now she's thinking they're going to pay attention to her. But the joke is nobody's paying attention to her. Even Jeff Bezos, nobody's inviting her to these big events. Nobody wants them around. They're not A-listers in Hollywood. And the what do you call it? The aristocracy and other royals around the world also want nothing to do with them. They've shamed their family. They're exiled royals. They live in shame. So no one in Hollywood is taking them seriously. Nobody from his world in the royals is taking them seriously. And where are they now? They're influencers on Instagram. That is basically what she has reduced Prince Harry to. Holding the camera while she gets her close up for the gram. I mean, that's embarrassing. Have you ever thought that Prince Harry would fall so far, Steph?
No, not a chance. And the thing is, you say that Meghan and Harry aren't getting the attention. No, they are getting the attention, just not the attention that they want from Hollywood.
Yeah.
The attention that they usually get from Hollywood is more one of like ridicule and taking the mick out of them. Have you heard of the latest with Family Guy?
Yes. Yes. So has it come out yet, or is it about to come out?
Well, I tried searching for the clip and I couldn't find it. So my understanding is that it may be about to come out.
Oh my God. I wish South Park could do an entire series, not just one episode. They should have an entire 5-6 part episode. Harry and Meghan, it would be their highest rated series. I'm serious, because there's so much material. They can make an entire season of Harry and Meghan.
Mm.
And the Family Guy. So when I find out, girl, I'll let you know, because this is the thing. Everything has turned full circle. We're not in 2021 anymore where people are losing their jobs, Steph, for talking about Harry and Meghan. Now people are in on it. And they're like, whatever, you're a joke. Now we have people like the Family Guy coming out with another episode. And I heard rumors South Park might follow suit. People aren't afraid of them anymore because they're a joke. Right? Nobody cares. When you do that baby mama dance, you're telling the world you're a joke. What do you think about that?
Just you can't argue really with that, with what you've just said, to be fair. It just I'm at loss for words as to how Megsy Ann Hazard thought it was the best idea in the whole wide world to release that baby birth video thing, whatever you want to call it. Ugh. It just, yeah, it's insane, but they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot because it's giving more content, not only to us for us to report on it, right? But also to the mainstream. That's like catnip for Family Guy and South Park. If South Park ever did another episode on the gruesome twosome, I would be very surprised if they didn't include a nod to that pregnancy birth video thing, whatever.
And Call Me Megan Sussex now. I mean, they'd probably win an Emmy, honestly. They've literally become part of the culture to make fun of them now.
Yeah.
It's like you're fair game. You put yourself out there. You're no longer with the royals. You're on Instagram. I mean, you're in our faces. So you can't get mad at people now for making fun of you. You're a celebrity. You're a D-list celebrity. You're an influencer on Instagram. So people aren't losing their jobs anymore. You know, the guy from Spotify, I love him. Bill Simmons, because he pretty much said they're effing grifters. Yeah. They suck. They're not worth the money. And he's never apologized. He's like, they suck. Good luck to you. And it's been out there. And guess what? He's right. She's bombed at everything that she's done. And her Confessions of a Female Founder. It's gone. Like, she can't stick to it. It's one season. Lemonada has been sold. We have no idea. Sometime in the future, she's going to drop another podcast, but it's probably going to be under a different name, right?
Well, I've got a little. Well, have you heard this one then? I saw it on Twitter earlier on that allegedly Meghan Markle is in talks with Jamie Lerner, Kima, whoever, to join forces and do like a 6-part podcast series or something along those lines.
What?
Yeah.
Wait. So she's in talks with Jamie Kern Lima. First of all, ma'am, you need to shorten your name. Jamie Kern Lima to do a 6-part series on what? On like being an entrepreneur?
I don't know. Apparently, from what I heard, gossip of some kind. But that's what I heard on Twitter anyway. So
I swear Twitter has the tea. Twitter always, I'm telling you, that's why I was away from Twitter. And then the minute I got on Twitter, it was like, oh, okay. The tea drops on Twitter, folks. I'm just telling you. They got some good people on there too. So let's go through some of these comments here. Palm says, only Megsy can go from D list to RF and then down to the Z list. Hey, it's a skill. It is a skill. I honestly don't know anyone who can blow up their life that much. Opinion says, think the video was Meghan and Jake Rosenberg, that Meghan is also shut down with an injunction. She knows if the truth was revealed, she can make a lot of money blaming royal family and book deals. I think it was proven it actually is Harry. Unfortunately, it is Harry. It did look like Jake, but it is Harry. And Stef, do you have your card? That card that you got of them doing the dance?
Oh, yeah. Hang on.
I'm going to get myself one. You guys have to see this card. It is hysterical. I got to get one of those, Stef. I can't.
Moon Pig is where I got mine from. I don't know if you guys in America have Moon Pig, but yeah.
Oh
Moon
my
Pig.
God. So is that a card? Was a Father's Day card? Oh my God, that is hysterical. See, they're part of the culture to make fun of them now. Oh, we need to get South Park. They need to get on it.
Prince Harry is being demoted to the court jester, really, at this point.
Or the village idiot. One of the two.
One of the two, yeah.
Jan says, a 6-part series seems excessive with their voices. You guys, I know my voice can be annoying sometimes, but Jamie Kern Lima sounded like she was having an orgasm. Yeah. I was like, I'll have what she's having. Yeah. I was like, good Lord. And I've noticed that some of the people who were doing unboxings were also, I'm like, is there something in the packaging stuff that we need to know about? Because I'll order it again. I'm just saying. Anyways. Moving on.
Do I need to order more Amazon packages? Is Jeff Bezos offering something we don't realize?
Right? Celeste says, I read today a podcast with her and JKL horror. Look, it's just Christmas morning to us content creators. And don't forget, guys, we get through 2nd season of With Love, Meghan. And she's going to have Stef, Chrissy Teigen.
I know.
Lord, Jesus take the wheel. Jesus take the wheel. Could she have chosen a more hideous guest than Chrissy Teigen?
No, really, in the grand scheme of things. But it shows, how do I put this? It shows and proves how hypocritical Megsy is on a next level that you don't even potentially realize, in the sense of she'll have Chrissy Teigen on a show, right? After everything Chrissy Teigen has said on Twitter and done.
Oh my God.
If you don't know, just Google it at your own will, at your own peril, potential trigger warning.
It's gross.
Yeah, very gross. Yeah. Her ex-BFF, Jessica Mulroney, she still hasn't to this day made up with her and completely ditched her
Mm-hmm.
when Jessica Mulroney actually was totally innocent.
Exactly. And she dumped her like a hot potato after she used this woman to get into Harry's inner circle. And
Yep.
that's a whole other thing. But now she's going to surround herself with Chrissy Teigen. Now, they haven't announced yet exactly when the second part of her Netflix series is going to drop and who the guests are going to be, but it sounds like Chrissy Teigen might be the biggest celebrity. It's like, ew. At least Mindy Kaling was decent, right? But we don't have any Serena Williams, no Oprah. I mean, who are these guests going to be? It's going to be very interesting to hear about her new show. But we just got word her show, guys, didn't do very well. Did not do very well. I'm sorry, I'm trying to take this picture down here. So her show, the numbers have come out, Stef, that her show With Love Meghan ranked at 383. Reruns of Suits ranked higher than her own cooking show With Love Meghan. Now, normally what they're saying, the experts are saying, when your show is that bad, you don't get a second season or what they call a second season, but it's really part one, just cut in half and being released. Why the hell is Netflix going down on the ship with Meghan Markle? Can you explain this to me? Because she doesn't bring in the ratings.
So I actually discussed this on my stream that I did just a couple of days ago on Friday. And I have this theory that Netflix is using Meghan Markle and Prince Harry as a tax break. So just to give you guys a little bit of a quick note as to how Hollywood works. So studios, they'll create a movie. If they don't release that movie because they don't think it's going to be successful, then whatever investment they've put in their movie, let's say $100 million, right? They can offset all that money against their tax bill. So whatever their tax bill is, they just minus it by $100 million, done and dusted. Alternatively, if the Hollywood studio, let's say, releases that film, but it isn't as successful as projections told them it was going to be, this, that, and the other, then again, there is a scenario where they can offset anything they've invested into that project against tax. And so where Harry, Meghan, and Netflix come in is something similar, right? Netflix knows that they're backing a dead horse at this point because apart from Harry and Meghan, the mockumentary, everything else has been an absolute flop. And they must know by now that they don't have a large following around the globe that like them enough to want to tune in their tens of millions, right? So Netflix must know that. So what they're doing is they're continuing to still invest in Harry and Meghan, knowing that these projects are still going to flop regardless. So then they can turn around to IRS and say, right, these are flopped. Whatever we've invested in Harry and Meghan, we're offsetting it against tax, because ultimately that is the only way I can see that Netflix can try and claw back from that $100 million contract they gave Harry and Meghan in the first place. A little bit technical, a little bit long-winded. Apologies, guys. But that's kind of like the best and shortest way I can kind of explain all that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that's a good theory because honestly, the rest of us are scratching our heads because, okay, so she gets a lot of press. I mean, she gets a lot of press. The girl farts in the wind and 20 people report about it. Okay. She gets press like nobody's business. You cannot pay for that kind of PR. The fact that, Harry and Meghan are like 200 stories a day at least, right, Steph? At least 200 stories a day. I mean, they're just everywhere. And the fact that, they're counting on, hey, even though she gets a lot of negativity, he was talking about people don't like her, but that's okay because she brings in the ratings. Well, clearly, even the hate watching is not helping Meghan Markle. Now, in the beginning of the second season, people are going to tune in because we like a train wreck. But again, it's like at the end of the day, Netflix, what are you gaining out of this besides a tax break? I mean, she's not really bringing in the ratings. Like if this was the number one show, I could say, okay, I could see why they're sticking with her, because the hate watching is paying off. You know, they always say negative press is still good press, right? Because they're talking about her. And they talked about her, but I think there was what, 6 episodes, 8 episodes. Steph, after the 3rd episode, I fell asleep. I could not bring myself, and I'm a commentator, y'all. I tried. I was like, I'm taking it for the team. I couldn't. I literally just fast forwarded to the sound bites and listened to everybody else do the highlights. I could not do it. I fell asleep. And her podcast, I think I listened to the first 3 episodes, and I couldn't finish. It was that bad. So why people keep investing in her, I don't get it, because she doesn't translate into dollar bills. Limonada got sold. If Meghan Markle was such a draw and they're making so much money, whatever, right? They would have her back already for another show, but she's even abandoned ship because she knew it sucked. Her podcast was it was a flop. So the fact that Netflix, I think they just kind of got stuck with her because they had that one season and they thought, okay, we're going to break it up into 2. We're going to make all this money. So he's kind of like the captain on the Titanic. He knows it's sinking. He sees the iceberg, but the captain goes down with the ship, right? He's stuck because they have season 2 coming out. But I personally feel, Steph, after the show ends, that contract is done. It's done.
100%.
There's nothing else coming out of these 2 unless they're going to do another Harry and Meghan 2.0. What do you think about that?
100% Netflix is going to drop them as soon as they can towards the end of this year. There's a couple of, as far as I can see markers that are kind of indicating that way. The first one is that the With Love Meghan season 1 part 2, which is how I like to call it, is coming out in the autumn just before the contract ends, right? Indicates to me, yeah, they want it released before that contract comes to an end kind of situation. The other marker to me that's indicating it's going to happen is, if you guys remember, a couple of years ago, it was announced to great fanfare that Harry and Meghan had bought the movie rights to Meet Me at the Lake.
Right.
Within 24 hours, the headline then changed to Netflix bought it. Harry and Meghan initially tried to take the credit for it. Let me ask you all this. This is over 2 years ago that was announced. Have we heard anything since from that project?
Well, let me tell you something. The author, Carly Fortune, she actually had penned another book that was sold, I believe, to Amazon. So they're making another one of her novels into a movie on Amazon. They already have a director and they already have a script writer. Yeah. I guarantee you, Steph, that movie and that book will come out before Meet Me at the Lake. It's been over 1.5 years. It is crickets. What the hell happened? It's like they bought the rights and then they attached Meghan and Harry to it, right? And then nothing. Meanwhile, she went to a competitor. I think she was unhappy with the way Netflix handled her book deal, because why would you sell your second book to a competitor? Wouldn't you again be like, hey, Netflix, here's another book? No, it goes to Amazon, and they've already moved forward. They've already announced the director. They already have a person who's adapting it to film. I guarantee you, I can't remember the name of the book, we'll probably start hearing about the cast. Nothing with Meet Me at the Lake. No director, no writer, no cast. It's been 1.5 years. That thing is gone to the graveyard of Meghan Markle's broken projects.
I mean, this is the thing, right? Think about it, guys. If this was all going ahead, then the PR from Team Sussex would be absolutely relentless. They would release, oh, Harry and Meghan's production company hires this actor to play this person and this actor to play this person. You know, they'd start drip feeding, you know, announcements as to who's playing who in this whole movie situation. Then during the movie being filmed, we'd probably then start getting puff pieces from the actors and actresses saying how awesome Harry and Meghan are to work with, this, that, and the other, blah, 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 blah. And then, you know, you'd get into post-production, everything would be edited. You'd then start getting puff pieces from them saying, oh, it's looking great, there's this, and then it'll be released. In the last nearly 1.5, 2 years, guys, have we heard any of those stories come out in the media?
No, we have not.
Ellen B says,
Ellen B says, question for Stef. Do you think Meghan Markle and Prince Harry made $100 million from Netflix?
No.
I don't either. I think what happened when they first announced that they had a deal with Netflix, they said it was valued at $100 million because they were expecting these huge projects, right? They were so great and they're going to save the universe with their wonderful positive puff pieces and, you know, educating the world. But again, it was valued at $100 million over a 5-year period. So that's technically what, 20, 25 million a year, which they were thinking they were getting 4 or 5 projects a year. But instead they've had 5 projects over 5 years and they haven't really done well. Prince Harry's Polo got 500,000 views, didn't even top in the top like 400 or 500. Like it never went in the top 10. That thing was a complete snooze fest. And I also only got through 1 episode of Polo and I fell asleep.
Oh no! Okay, sorry. Hang on a minute. So I did a live stream of me watching Polo for the first time ever through all episodes. Yes, I lost a lot of brain cells having to watch that monstrosity. But there was one thing that I thought was really funny. I nicknamed him Polo Hulk. He's one of the polo players on an opposing team, and they just keep losing. And when they start losing more and more, this particular Polo Hulk, as I call him, he'd like grab his mallet and just beat the absolute shiz out of like an inanimate object. At one point, he sees a water cooler in his sights and smashes the thing to pieces. So yeah, you missed the marvel of Polo Hulk, but
oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah, apparently he was a very unlikable character. And according to Neil Sean, you know, Nacho thought this was going to be his breakout moment. I'm going to be a star. And it just fizzled. And apparently their relationship kind of had a little bit of a rough patch after the show aired because I guess Harry was telling him, yeah, this is going to be great. You're going to be a superstar because he hasn't really translated to America unless you're in the polo scene, right? And I only knew about Nachos because he's friends with Harry. That is the only way I even knew about the guy.
Yeah.
Never heard of him before. I don't follow polo. That's a rich man's sport. So Carte Blanche says Netflix should put them both in real life Squid Game. Okay, I have not watched Squid Game. Have you watched Squid Game?
Oh yeah. Oh my goodness, every single episode. Yeah, like totally. But oh my goodness. Funny joke, but yeah, let's be a bit less violent than that, surely. Oh my goodness, no. I won't even wish my worst enemy to have to face a Squid Game moment. But seriously, Michelle, you've not actually watched Squid Game at all?
Steph, Sydney, the Sidley twins have been on me to watch it. I will try to watch I'm a Bridgerton. I'm a Gilded Age type of gal. I like my period pieces. I will try. I will try to sit down.
Hang on. Whoa. Hang on then. Are you okay with horror and like graphic gore in a way?
I like horror movies, but not as it's gore. It's gory. I'm not into horror. Like I used to watch Friday the 13th and Halloween back in the day, but I like to have a little bit more of like a suspense thriller, like the old from the 70s and 80s. Y'all know I like my old movies. Like I literally watched Mildred Pierce with Kate Winslet. Okay, a 5-part series. That's about my speed, y'all.
Okay.
So if people's hands or something like that, that's not going to be for me. They're not doing stuff like that, are they? Oh God.
have do you know what? There must be like clips on YouTube. I would recommend, Michelle, you watch a clip on YouTube of one of the Squid Games in motion and judge from there if you could. Yeah, watch it.
I'm being told to look at my chat. Okay. It says, try it. RDT Squid Games is so good. Okay. Okay.
It is really good. It's
I
like one of the best things Netflix has released.
okay. I will try one episode. I can do any look if I can get through 3 episodes of Megan's cooking show. If I can get through one episode of Polo, I think I can do one episode of Squid Games, and I will text you if it's bad. I'll be
Yeah,
like,
let me know. Let me know. Let me know if you like it or not.
okay. Okay. Um It says, Through the Looking Glass channel with Alice. I love that name. Y'all are the most creative people in the world. Sorry, and my mom's name is Alice, by the way. Hi, Mom. I know my mom's watching. She lurks in the comments. Hi, Mommy. Sorry for typo. Harry was in Toronto, May 2016, so you don't have to guess. Suits was filming in Toronto during the same time period. No way Meghan could have missed this. So are you saying that they met like in May versus the July story that they're telling everybody? Yeah, the whole meet cute story isn't mathing. They can't even get their story straight. So I think, Steph, we can all safe assume there's even people saying they might have met in 2015 in another place. I'm sure you've heard that rumor.
Yep. Look, we know that there's inconsistencies in the stories that are out there as to when, where they actually met. One thing we know for more certainty is, you know, based on the headlines that have been coming out the last couple of weeks, the Queen Elizabeth II, you know, before she sadly passed away, had mentioned that, you know, she believed that Megsy engineered the whole relationship, planned it, manipulated it, the whole lot. So, yeah, regardless if there's any inconsistencies in the story of when and where they met, we would know with more certainty that, yeah, she still engineered it all anyway.
Mm-hmm. Lyle says everyone said she was his call girl. However, knowing now, she had to play the innocent type. Yeah, I don't know about that. I'm not going to say she was, but I personally believe that I think we all know, Steph, that Meghan Markle was a single white female and that she did stalk him for about a year and a half. She was trying to get into the inner circle of the aristocracy, and she befriended a lot of people on his outer circle. Misha Nunu, Princess Eugenie. She befriended so many people that she was literally trying to get herself a rich UK husband. But I personally feel like, do you think she was shocked that she actually got to Prince Harry? Like she really kind of overshot her shot because I think she just wanted a rich UK husband. And in my opinion, if she would have married someone like the Marchioness of Bath married, he is super rich, like $300 million, huge estate home. You get the little bit of the courtesy royal title, but then she gets to model and act. She shot too high. She went to fifth in line to the throne where it's like, we're serious royals here. So the minute you marry me, you have to leave your acting behind, and you're basically a civil servant and a tiara, and you have a real important job here, and you don't get to live in this huge manor house. You know, you get to live in the quarters that we give you. So I think Meghan didn't realize that the higher she went, the more responsibility it was going to be, and she kind of overshot her shot. What do you think? Because she wanted the husband.
I don't I don't fully agree with your notion of the higher you climb, the more responsibility you get.
Mm-hmm.
It's more, for me, the higher you climb, the different sets of responsibilities that you get.
Yes.
And so with that, for me, it's like, I believe Megsy got with Prince Hazza, I believe the reports that she was overspending at that point, you know, spending her way into bankruptcy, so needs to find someone rich quick to get her out of it and get her back on the life she thought she deserved, this, that, and the other. And then in pops Prince Hazard. The rumours go that a lot of people consider Megsy to be one of the luckiest con artists in the world, her being able to con a prince into marrying her. They're the rumours. Do with them as you will. Sorry, I've completely lost my train of thought.
Okay, we'll go, girl. I feel you. Blah blah says she snaked her way through the family. Absolutely. Celeste,
brain fart, guys.
what?
I just want to apologize for the brain fart.
No, girl, I do it all the time. Celeste says footballer's wife better for her. She wanted Ashley Cole.
Yes.
Told, wasn't it Liz Cundy? She said she was looking for a rich UK husband and she was trying to get on that show Made in Chelsea, which honestly, that's her speed. She probably would have done very well on a show like Made in Chelsea, dating a footballer. That was really her speed. But marrying into the royal family, you know, when you marry a royal, like if you look at all of the royal queens that we currently have and the future queens, like Catherine, the Princess of Wales, when you marry into the royal family, that's it. That is your job. That is your career. It's not, hey, I'm going to do some modeling on the side. No, you're a royal. Queen Mary of Denmark, the woman learned a new language to marry her husband because she understood the assignment. I'm going to be a queen. I have to represent this country. I have to dress elegantly. I have to learn how to sit with heads of state. I have to learn your protocols, your national anthem. I have to learn how to curtsy. I am marrying into a royal family. You look at Sophie, the Duchess of Edinburgh. These are women who were not born into, you know, high society. These are women who were considered commoners who married into royalty, but they understood mama's not going to get a Netflix deal. Okay. Mama's leaving it at the door wearing a tiara and acting as a royal. Meghan didn't get the assignment.
Yeah. So just to go back then to, you've just reminded me. Thank you. Because I've been racking my brains. Damn it. Thank you, hon. So yeah, rumor has it she's considered like one of the luckiest con artists in the world, being able to bag a prince and con him into marrying her, this, that, and the other. Again, just a rumor and all that lot. But the con has backfired on her because, again, the narrative goes she thought that she was going to have it easy. You know, live in the castle, have the tiaras and the servants and all this lot. And it didn't turn out that way at all. Also, as well, the con bit her in the backside because reports go that she thought that Harry was richer than he is.
Right.
You know, she thought that he was worth billions rather than millions. That kind of thing. And so, yeah, she totally underestimated the reality of marrying into the royal family in the first place.
Yeah, and Harry has money. He has money, but he doesn't have the kind of money that she thought, and that if she would have access to it immediately. And when she moved into Notcott and had to pay, you know, on her IKEA credit card supposedly for some lamps, I mean, give me a break. She was not a happy camper. She was not a happy camper, even though they were preparing an apartment for her in Kensington Palace. That wasn't good enough for her. She was just one of those people who always wanted to have basically what Catherine and William had. And, you know, she didn't understand the hierarchy and that she was, you know, marrying fifth in line to the throne, all of that. Lisa says
they wanted to, she thought that they were going to be treated equally to Prince William and Princess Catherine, to the point where rumors go that Hazard and Megsy went up to Prince William and Princess Catherine and tried to negotiate with them, splitting the Duchy of Cornwall 50-50 with them, thinking that they were equally entitled to it once Prince William became Prince of Wales.
Right.
And yeah, William was like, that's not how this works. So yeah, it totally all backfired on her.
Absolutely. Harry is a millionaire and not a billionaire. Absolutely. And the way she's going, folks, I don't think she's going to get that $1 billion dream anytime soon. Things are not going too well for her over there with her As Ever, her Netflix deal, her podcast deal. I think it's safe to say that the Netflix deal, I believe, is just not going to go any further. I don't think they're going to make really more money out of this deal here. I think it's starting to fade out. I think the money is starting to run out. And that's why I believe that Harry is starting to kind of run back to daddy. You know, he realizes that being a civilian doesn't pay very well. They're going through their money.
Well, forgive me if I'm wrong in terms of the source, but I think it was Neil Sean on YouTube that turned around and gave a different theory to that peace summit, saying that it wasn't actually a peace summit. It was a meeting between Harry's representatives and the King's to try and negotiate getting more money out of the royal family via trusts or investments that are Harry's that the family made on his behalf or something along those lines. So, yeah, that could then jive with what you're saying there, which is, yeah, they're running out of money.
Exactly. And I think they're realizing that Meghan is just not doing well with her As Ever. To me, it's kind of like it's a gimmick. She's running a novelty gimmick shop. It's not a sustainable business. She calls it seasonal items, but they sell out within 2 hours, supposedly. To me, it's just very odd. Like, she has partnerships with Netflix that's doing her production. They're paying for the products, but how are they so low in stock? I don't get it. And I know if you see my video about the whole fiasco of me trying to order her apricot jam, getting my order confirmation, them taking my money, telling me your order's on its way, even giving me a shipping number, Steph. 10 days later, I had a tracking number, meaning I had a product that was supposedly with a label on it and ready to ship. And then it sat there for a week. And then I got the Dear John letter 10 days later saying, sorry, folks, we oversold your product, but we're going to refund you the money. And the way that they've run that whole business through Snow Commerce, first of all, which has like a 1 rating, and they're known to sell products that don't exist. I can't imagine her doing that again with more products. I hope she gets another fulfiller because that was a mess. Now, the wine, I haven't heard any negative things about the wine distribution because it's done through a winery. So I'm assuming it's done a little bit smoother. But still, Steph, when she launched that wine, I was like, there's no way in hell she's selling out because those prices were steep. They were pretty steep. What, $120 for 3 bottles? You were forced to purchase 3 bottles or 6 or 12. And when it sold out in what, 2 hours? I was like, there's no way. How are the hell, what are they counting? What was their number of bottles that they started with? I can't imagine she's making thousands upon thousands of dollars on
No, she's
business.
not. The reports that, you know, the With Love Meghan show didn't do so well and only got a couple of million views, this, that, and the other, that actually gives us more of an indication when it comes to the stock quantity for As Ever. Because if so little people, let's say, are not watching With Love Meghan, then that would equal then that fewer more are then interested in her brand as a result. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Because her
totally.
whole series was essentially predicated on a brand. And people weren't interested in the series, so even less people are going to be interested in a brand. Therefore, she does have to make less as a result when it comes to a stock.
That's
Because she
true.
knows she doesn't have the millions of people waiting at the gates wanting to get her wine and spreads and all this, that, and the other.
That's true. Deco Painter and T says, did you get your shipping refund back? Yes, I did. They finally refunded me my shipping with tax, $7.58, which was bizarre. They did it like a couple days after, but the way that they did my refund, again, first they only refunded the $15.16, which came from PayPal. Then after I did my videos and was on Twitter and Dan Wooten gave me a shout out talking about my refund, I started getting a lot of traction. I think my tweet had 100,000 views. I was like, whoa, okay. All of a sudden, I get this notification. Oh, by the way, we're refunding you your shipping. And I get it directly from Snow Commerce, like a direct
Oh,
obligation. And it was $7.58. I'm like, why do you just refund the whole amount at once? You took the whole amount at once. It doesn't make sense the way you broke it apart. I think because they saw the negative feedback is why I got the refund back. Now I'm supposed to get an apricot spread in the future. So we're still going to hold out on that, guys. Maybe for Christmas, I'll get an apricot spread. It'll be out of season. But I mean, just the whole way that she ran her company is just very, very surprising. Now, Steph has to go in a couple of minutes. So let's go through some of your comments. If you have any questions for Steph, make sure you drop them in the link. But it's been so fun. I cannot believe almost an hour has gone by because I have so many more questions, Steph, so many more things to discuss with you. But I want to go ahead and just acknowledge a couple of comments in here. Yes, how do you sell out if a factory is making it? Absolutely. So I think, again, wasn't Netflix giving them money for the product? So that's why I'm not understanding. How do you not have enough products? You have money.
well, for me, I have another theory on that. So the order link goes live on the 1st of July, but it says that when you buy the wines, the shipping won't take place until, I think they said like the 9th or 10th of July, something along those lines, or maybe 11th or 12th, something along those lines. And so what they could have been doing was, okay, let's see how many orders actually come in for this wine so we then know how many to ship out. And once we get to a certain point, once the orders start to slow down, well, then all of a sudden magically say we're sold out. Job's a good one.
Right. Lisa says marketing plan, announce drop, sell out of 50 items, announce sell out, drink more. Absolutely. I think she just wanted, the first time she did it, she definitely wanted to have like a scarcity tactic. And then I think the second one, the refill, she was forced into it. I don't think she wanted to do it, but I think, was it Beyonce's mom kind of made her look bad? Like, girl, what are you doing? You didn't restock your product. So I think she kind of felt forced to do that really sloppy relaunch because she literally said, we're going to take time to think about it. And
Yeah.
we're going to relaunch in 96. And then 2 weeks later, guess what, guys? Here it is. And we're like, what? Okay. Like nothing like confusing the consumer, right?
Well, yeah, but also as well, there's a theory that she all of a sudden did a U-turn and did that second drop because Netflix pressured her to do that. Netflix said, that she would be releasing products via her As Ever brand seasonally. Well, she did one in April, which is spring. We're now in summer. She said in that Fast Company article that she wasn't going to release anything until 2026, missing out summer, autumn, and winter. And Netflix is turning around saying, no, you're to release seasonally. Do a second drop for summer now.
Right. Tamfit says her PR team sucks. Selling out doesn't look good. A steady stream looks much better. Yeah, again, she's running a novelty shop, a gift shop, like a little cheap little gift shop, little trinkets. So yeah, I just don't think she's going to do, I don't think in 5 years, Meghan Markle is going to have As Ever in business. And I could be wrong. But again, she doesn't stick to anything. Like her podcast has had what, 2 or 3 reinventions, and now we don't even know when the show is coming back in another year, on what network, under what name. Her business has had 2 different names. I think she's still in the process of getting a trademark. Their Netflix deal, I think after the show, I don't think she's going to have season 3 of With Love. I think it's going to be kind of a one and done. She doesn't stick to anything long enough. And apparently now, Steph, she's no longer being called Megan Sussex. That lasted about 2 weeks. It's like you moved on again. She's just weird. Lisa Sums, let's face it, staging fabulousness is her gimmick. IG influencer of 2012, not the 2020s. Absolutely. And I had someone in here who had an awesome comment. I want to see if I can find it for you. Somebody said that they're into politics and they're going to go over and they're going to check out Stef's channel. So we want to make sure you guys go over and check out the lovely Stef. She does amazing content. And if you're into politics, guys, staying up with what's happening in the world, besides Harry and Meghan, then make sure you go over to her channel and check out the Political Nerds.
Yep.
She talks about politics that are happening in everyday life, and I'm sure there's plenty to talk about. Maybe I'll have to pop over there and we can talk shop, talk politics over on the Political Nerds. And then, of course, guys, if you want to get all of the latest news on Harry and Meghan, you can step over to her main channel, Stef the Altar Nerd, where she dishes out the daily royalty. So, Stef, this has been so fun having you today on the show. We've been talking about this for a long time, and hopefully we can do this really, really soon.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on. Thanks to everyone that's watching and your awesome comments in the live chat and being so welcoming and kind. I appreciate you all. And yeah, enjoy the rest of the evening, you guys. And if you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe to Royal Daily Tea right now and like this stream. And
yes, I'm on my way
continue
to
to comment and
50K.
help her.
Yes, I'm on my way to 50K. Hopefully by the end of summer, we're at 44,000. So help me get to 50K. Thank y'all so much for being here. I'm really sorry I didn't get to everyone's comments, but I was just too busy chatting away with Stef. But you guys, thank y'all for stopping by. Go over, check out her channels. I will try one episode of Squid Games and I'll let y'all know how I do. But you guys, thank you. And I hope to see y'all on the next one. Bye, guys.
Bye.